Good day, dear students. Today I'm going to talk about lesson planning. If we're thinking about lesson planning, we ask this question like, who am I teaching? What am I teaching? How will I teach it? Do my students understand? A lesson plan is the instructor's route map of what students need to learn and how it will be done effectively during the class time. Then, you can design appropriate learning activities and develop strategies to obtain feedback on student learning. Having a carefully constructed lesson plan for each 3-hour lesson allows you to enter the classroom with more confidence and maximizes your chance of having a meaningful learning experience with your students. A lesson plan is a teacher's detailed description of the course of instruction or learning trajectory for a lesson. Daily lesson plan is developed by a teacher to guide class learning. Details will vary depending on the preference of the teacher, subject being covered, and the needs of the students. There may be requirements mandated by the school system regarding the plan. A lesson plan is the teacher's guide for running a particular lesson and it includes the goal, what the students are supposed to learn, how the goal will be reached, method, procedure, and a way of measuring how well the goal was reached, like tests, worksheet, homework, and so on. While there are many formats for a lesson plan, most lesson plans contain some or all of the elements typically in this order. The first one, title of the lesson. Then, time required to complete the lesson. List of required materials. List of objectives, which may be behavioral objectives, what the student can do at lesson completion, or knowledge objectives, what the student knows at lesson completion. The set or lead-in or bridging that focuses students on the lesson skills or concepts. These include showing pictures or models, asking leading questions, or reviewing previous lessons. Next point, an instructional component that describe the sequence of events that make up the lesson, including the teacher's instructional input and, where appropriate, guided practice by students to consolidate new skills and ideas. Independent practice that allows students to extend skills or knowledge on their own. A summary where the teacher wraps up this discussion and answers questions. An evaluation component, a test of mastery of the instructor's skills or concepts, such as set of questions to answer or set of instructions to follow. A risk assessment where the lesson's risks and the steps taken to minimize them are documented. Analysis component, the teacher uses to reflect on the lesson itself, such as what worked and what needs improving. A continuity component reviews and reflects on content from the previous lesson. In this slide, I am going to present the phases of lesson plan. According to Herbert, there are 8 lesson plan phases that are designed to provide many opportunities for teachers to recognize and correct students' misconceptions while extending understanding for future lessons. These phases are introduction, foundation, brain activation, body of new information, clarification, practice and review, independent practice, and closure. The first phase, preparation instruction. It pertains to preparing and motivating learners to the lesson content by linking it to the previous knowledge of the student, by the arousing curiosity of the children, and by making an appeal to their senses. This prepares the learner's mind to receive new knowledge, to know where the students are and where they should try to be are the two essentials of good teaching. Lessons may be started in the following manner: 2 or 3 interesting but relevant questions, showing a pictures, chart, model, situation, statement of aim, announcement of the focus of the lesson in a clear, concise statement, such as today we shall study the. The second phase is presentation or development. The actual lesson commences here. This step should involve a good deal of activity on the part of the students. The teacher will take the aid of various devices, for example, questions, illustrations, explanation, expositions, demonstrations, and sensory aids, and so on. Information and knowledge can be given, explained, revealed, or suggested. The following principles should be kept in mind. The first principle of selection and division. The subject matter should be divided into different sections. The teacher should also decide as to how much he is to tell and how much the students are to find out for themselves. The second principle of successive sequence. The teacher should ensure that the succeeding as well as preceding knowledge is clear to the students. The third principle of the absorption and integration in the end of separation of the parts must be followed by their combination to promote understanding of the whole. The third phase is association comparison. It's always desirable the new ideas or knowledge be associated to daily life situation by citing suitable examples and by drawing comparisons with a related concept. This step is important when we are establishing principles and generalizing definitions. The fourth phase is generalizing. This concept is concerned with the systematizing of the knowledge learned. Comparison and contrast lead to generalization, and effort should be made to ensure the students draw the conclusions themselves. It should result in students' own thinking, reflection, and experience. The fifth phase is application, which it requires a good deal of mental activity to think and apply the principles learned to the new situation. Knowledge, when it's put to use and verified, becomes clear in the part of the student's mental makeup. And the sixth stage is recapitulation. Last step of the lesson plan, the teacher tries to ascertain whether the students have understood and grasped the subject matter or not. This is used for assessing, evaluating the effectiveness of the lesson by asking students questions on the content of the lesson or by giving short objectives to state the student level of understanding, for example, to label different parts on a diagram. Let's answer the question, what is a lesson plan? Lesson plan is a written guide for achieving the intended learning outcomes or aims. What? Aims. Main aims, subsidiary, and personal. How? Equipment and materials. How? Methods of presentations. Why? Discuss 3 important reasons for lesson plans. Access the forum on the Moodle and participate, lesson planning, recipe, map photo, or instruction manual. In this slide, I would like to reveal some standard components of a lesson plan. They are homework, level and number of learners, aims, main aims, subsidiary, personal, procedures, stages, timing, teaching aids, anticipated problems, assumptions, interaction patterns, timetable fit work. Let's talk about lesson planning aims. Main aim is the most important thing we want to achieve in a lesson. Personal aim. What we would like to improve and focus on in our own teaching. Subsidiary aim. Language and skills learners must be able to use well in order to achieve the main aim of the lesson. How is lesson planning important for the teacher and the learners? For the teacher, they don't have to think on their feet. They don't lose face in front of the learners. They are clear on the procedure to follow. They build on the previous teaching and prepare for coming lessons. For the learner, they realize that the teacher cares for their learning. They attend a structured lesson easier to assimilate. They appreciate their teacher's work as a model of well-organized work to imitate. Now I would like to present a sample plan of the lesson. The first, it consists of 4 parts of 4 stages: organization moment, warm-up, the main part of the lesson, and conclusion. Talking about the main part of the lesson, it consists of checking up the homework task, working with text, introduction grammar material, doing exercise, working with pictures, vocabulary, and conclusion consists of 2 points, giving the homework and marks assessment. Creating a reliable lesson plan is an important part of classroom management. Doing so requires the ability to incorporate effective strategies into the classroom, the students, and overall environment. There are many different types of lesson plans and ways to creating them. Teachers can encourage critical thinking in a group setting by creating plans that include the student participating collectively. Visual strategies are another component ties into lesson plans that help with classroom management. These visual strategies help a wide variety of students to increase their learning structure and possibly their overall comprehension of the material or what is in the lesson plan itself. These strategies also give students with disabilities the option to learn in a possible more efficient way. Teachers need to realize a wide range of strategies that can be used to maintain classroom management and students. They should find the best strategies to incorporate in their lesson planning for their specific grade, student type, teaching style, and so on, and utilize them to their advantage. The classroom tends to flow better when the teacher has a proper lesson plan, as it provides structure for the lessons. Being able to utilize class time efficiently comes with creating lesson plans in their core.